My name is Noe, and I never thought I'd be fighting a millionaire over the house where my grandmother raised me. But here I was, standing in the living room I'd known my whole life, staring at eviction papers from Marcus Sterling, a man who claimed he owned everything I'd ever called home. "You can't just kick me out," I said, my hands shaking as I held the legal documents. "My grandmother left this house to me." Marcus Sterling adjusted his expensive suit and smiled coldly. "Your grandmother was quite ill before she passed, wasn't she? Unfortunately, she changed her will in my favor 3 months before her death. I have the paperwork to prove it." "That's impossible," I shot back. "Grandma Rose would never—" "Never what?" Marcus interrupted, stepping closer. "Leave her estate to her only living blood relative instead of her grandson who isn't actually related by blood? You do know you were adopted, don't you?" My stomach dropped. "What are you talking about?" "Your grandmother took you in when you were 3 years old. No legal adoption, just charity. Touching, really, but it doesn't give you any legal rights to this property." He pulled out a folder and tossed it on the coffee table. "I'm her nephew, actual blood family. This house, worth nearly $2 million in this market, belongs to me now." "You're lying," I whispered. Marcus laughed. "I'm giving you 2 weeks to pack your things. Be grateful I'm being generous. Most landlords would have you out in 72 hours. After he left, I collapsed on the couch, my mind racing. My neighbor, Mrs. Chen, knocked on the door within minutes. "I saw that fancy car," she said, coming inside. "Who was that man?" "He says he's my grandmother's nephew," I explained, showing her the papers. "He claims she changed her will and left everything to him." Mrs. Chen frowned. "That doesn't sound like Rose. She talked about you inheriting this place constantly. She even showed me her will once. You were the only beneficiary." "When was this?" I asked urgently. "About 6 months ago, maybe less. She was very clear about it." Mrs. Chen pulled out her phone. "You need to call my daughter Diana. She's a real estate attorney. If something fishy is going on, she'll figure it out." That evening, I met with Diana Chen in her office downtown. "Tell me everything," she said, pulling out a notepad. I explained the entire situation: Marcus's claim, the supposed new will, my grandmother's illness in her final months. "Did your grandmother have dementia or any cognitive impairment?" Diana asked. "The doctor said she had early-stage Alzheimer's," I admitted, "but she was still sharp most of the time. She recognized everyone, managed her own affairs." Diana's eyes narrowed. "If she had a diagnosed cognitive condition, any will changes during that period would be highly questionable. Do you have her medical records?" "I have everything. I was her primary caregiver." "Good. We need to request the original will from the county clerk's office and compare it to this new one Marcus is claiming is valid." Diana leaned forward. "Noe, I'm going to be straight with you. If Marcus forged documents or coerced your grandmother, we can fight this, but we need proof." "What kind of proof?" I asked. "We need witnesses who can testify about your grandmother's mental state. We need her medical records showing the Alzheimer's diagnosis. We need the original will. And most importantly, we need to find out if Marcus even visited your grandmother before she died." I thought for a moment. He didn't. I was there every day. Grandma Rose never mentioned any nephew. I never saw him at the funeral either. Diana smiled grimly. "Then we have our first red flag. A supposed loving nephew who never visits his dying aunt, but suddenly appears to claim a $2 million inheritance? Let's dig deeper." Over the next week, Diana and I gathered evidence. We met in her office to review what we'd found. "Look at this," Diana said, spreading documents across her desk. "The original will, filed 8 months ago, leaves everything to you. Clear as day. Your grandmother's signature, properly witnessed, notarized." "And this new will Marcus is using?" I asked. "Filed 3 months ago, supposedly. But look at the notary stamp. It's from a company that shut down 5 months ago. The notary whose name appears here?" Diana pulled up a website. She had her license revoked 6 months ago for falsifying documents. My heart raced. So it's fake? It's definitely fraudulent, but we need more. I've hired an investigator named Thomas Rivera to check out Marcus Sterling's background. As if on cue, her phone rang. That's him now. Thomas, I'm putting you on speaker. Diana, you're not going to believe what I found, Thomas's voice came through. Marcus Sterling isn't even his real name. He's Marcus Bellamy, and he's got a record. Fraud, forgery, identity theft. He's done this before. Done what before? I asked. He targets elderly people with valuable property. He gains their trust, gets them to sign documents, or he forges documents outright. He's been sued 3 times in other states for similar schemes. Thomas paused. Here's the interesting part. He was never Rose Martinez's nephew. I've traced her family tree. She had one sibling, a brother who died childless 20 years ago. Marcus has no biological connection to her whatsoever. Diana slammed her hand on the desk. He's a complete fraud. No, how did he even know about your grandmother? I thought back. There was a home health aide who came a few times when Grandma got really sick. A woman named Sarah something. She only lasted 2 weeks before we switched to someone else. What was wrong with her? Diana asked. She kept asking weird questions about Grandma's finances, her property. It made us uncomfortable. Suddenly, it clicked. You think she was working with Marcus? Thomas spoke up. I'll track her down. If we can prove they conspired together, we can get criminal charges filed, not just contest the will in civil court. Diana looked at me seriously. No, this is bigger than just getting your house back. This man is a career criminal. Are you ready to take him down completely? Absolutely, I said firmly. What do we do? First, we file a motion to block the eviction and contest the will. Second, we present our evidence to the district attorney's office. Third, we contact his previous victims. They might be willing to testify. Diana pulled out another folder. I found something else. Marcus put the house on the market yesterday. What? I jumped up. He can't sell it. He's trying to flip it fast before anyone catches on. He has a buyer ready to close in 3 days. Diana smiled. But that's actually good for us. It shows intent to defraud, urgency, consciousness of guilt. He's panicking. Over the next 48 hours, we worked around the clock. Thomas found Sarah Williams, the home health aide who'd worked with Marcus on 2 previous scams. He'd already cut her out of this deal, so she was willing to talk to save herself. In Diana's office, we listened to Sarah's confession via video call. Marcus approached me 2 years ago, Sarah admitted. He'd pay me $10,000 to work for elderly people, gain their trust, and report back about their assets. With Rose Martinez, I got her to sign some papers. She thought they were medication consent forms. What did she actually sign? Diana asked. I don't know exactly. Marcus handled that part. But I know he had a forger create a new will using her signature. Sarah's voice cracked. I didn't know he was going to try to steal someone's entire house. I thought he was just... Just what? I interrupted angrily. Just defrauding elderly people? You knew exactly what you were doing. I'm sorry, Sarah whispered. I'll testify against him. I have text messages, emails, everything. Diana ended the call and turned to me. We have him. Tomorrow, we're going to the DA's office. Then we're confronting Marcus with everything we've got. The next morning, Diana, Thomas, and I met with Assistant District Attorney Jennifer Walsh in her office. We have documentation of a pattern of fraud spanning 5 years and 3 states, Diana presented, laying out the evidence. Marcus Bellamy, using the alias Marcus Sterling, has defrauded at least 4 elderly victims out of properties worth over $6 million combined. Jennifer reviewed the documents carefully. This is substantial. And you have a witness willing to testify? Sarah Williams, the home health aide who worked with him, Thomas confirmed. She's already given a statement and turned over communications proving the conspiracy. Jennifer looked at me. No, you're the current victim in this case. Tell me what happened from your perspective. I walked through the entire timeline. My grandmother's illness, Sarah's brief employment, Marcus appearing after the funeral, the eviction notice, discovering the fraudulent will. He's trying to sell the house in 2 days, I finished. We need to stop that sale. Jennifer picked up her phone. I'm getting a warrant for his arrest right now. We'll also get an emergency injunction blocking any property sale. She dialed quickly. Judge Morrison? Jennifer Walsh. I need an emergency hearing. Yes, it's urgent. Fraud and elder abuse case. Thank you. She hung up. We have a hearing in 2 hours. Judge Morrison will issue the injunction, and I'll have officers pick up Marcus immediately after. 2 hours later, we were in Judge Morrison's courtroom. Marcus walked in with his lawyer, looking confused and annoyed. What is this about? Marcus demanded. I have a property closing this afternoon. Judge Morrison looked stern. Mr. Bellamy, or should I say Mr. Sterling, you're here because serious allegations of fraud have been brought against you. Marcus's face went pale.
I don't know what you're talking about. Your Honor, Diana stood. We have evidence that Mr. Bellamy forged a will, used a revoked notary stamp, conspired with a home health aide to defraud an elderly woman, and has committed similar crimes in 3 other states. We're requesting an immediate injunction preventing any sale of the property located at 847 Maple Street, and we're asking that Mr. Bellamy be taken into custody. Marcus's lawyer whispered urgently to him, but Marcus shook his head. This is ridiculous. I have every right to that property. Rose Martinez was my aunt, and she left it to me fair and square. Really? Jennifer stood. Then explain why genealogical records show Rose Martinez's only sibling died childless. Explain the notary stamp from a defunct company. Explain Sarah Williams's testimony that you paid her to forge documents. Marcus's confidence cracked. I want to speak to my client privately. Too late for that, Judge Morrison said. Based on the evidence presented, I'm issuing an emergency injunction. The property at 847 Maple Street cannot be sold, transferred, or encumbered in any way pending resolution of this case. Furthermore, I'm ordering Mr. Bellamy to surrender his passport. She nodded to the bailiff. Detective Chen is waiting outside to take him into custody. As officers entered the courtroom, Marcus lunged toward me. You little punk! That house should be mine. Do you know how much work I put into this? The bailiff grabbed him. Sir, you need to calm down. I spent months setting this up, Marcus shouted as they pulled him back. Rose was dying anyway. She didn't need a $2 million house. Keep talking, Jennifer said calmly. You're just making our case stronger. As they led Marcus away, he screamed back at me. You're nothing. You're not even her real family. I stood up, my voice steady. No, but she was my real grandmother, and she loved me. That's something you'll never understand. 3 weeks later, Diana called me to her office for a meeting with the district attorney. Noe, come in, Jennifer Walsh greeted me warmly. Marcus Bellamy has been formally charged with 11 counts of fraud, 4 counts of forgery, 2 counts of elder abuse, and 1 count of identity theft. 11 counts? I asked, sitting down. Once we arrested him, 3 more victims came forward from other states, Jennifer explained. He's looking at 15 to 20 years in federal prison. Diana smiled. And Judge Morrison officially voided the fraudulent will yesterday. The house is yours, Noe. Clear title, no encumbrances. She handed me the deed with my name on it. I stared at it, barely believing it was real. Thomas walked in carrying a folder. Sarah Williams pled guilty and is cooperating fully. She'll serve 2 years. Her testimony is going to seal Marcus's fate. When's the trial? I asked.
Jennifer shook her head. There won't be one. Marcus's lawyer contacted us this morning. With all the evidence, the forged documents, Sarah's testimony, the pattern of fraud, he's taking a plea deal. 18 years in federal prison, full restitution to all victims. So it's really over? I asked. Almost, Diana said. Marcus has been calling from jail. He wants to meet with you. He says he wants to apologize. I looked at all of them. Does he have to serve the full sentence? With federal charges, he'll serve at least 85%, Jennifer confirmed. About 15 years minimum. Good, I stood up. Tell Marcus I don't want his apology. He didn't just try to steal my house. He dishonored my grandmother's memory. An apology doesn't fix that. Thomas nodded. That's the right call. These guys always want forgiveness once they're caught. It's not about making amends. It's about making themselves feel better. Diana walked me to the door. I'm proud of how you handled this, Noe. A lot of people would have given up. I couldn't let him win, I said. Grandma Rose worked her whole life for that house. Fighting for what she left me was the least I could do. Back home, Mrs. Chen came over with dinner. So it's really yours now? She asked. Really mine, I confirmed, showing her the deed. Marcus is going to prison for 18 years. Mrs. Chen hugged me. Rose would be so proud. You fought back the right way, with lawyers and evidence, not anger and revenge. It was about justice, I said. Marcus thought he could prey on vulnerable people and get away with it, but he was wrong. My phone buzzed, another call from the jail. I blocked the number without hesitation. Days later, Jennifer called with a sentencing update. Marcus was officially sentenced today, she said. 18 years in federal prison, plus 5 years supervised release. He's permanently barred from any position of trust. Did he say anything in court? I asked. He tried giving this speech about how sorry he was, how he deserves another chance, Jennifer said. The judge shut him down. She said someone who spent 5 years defrauding elderly people doesn't deserve mercy. They deserve consequences. I wish I could have been there, I admitted. You didn't need to be. Your testimony was powerful enough. You helped catch a predator who would have continued hurting people for years, Jennifer said. You should be proud, Noe. After we hung up, I walked through each room, remembering my grandmother in every corner. This wasn't just about property. It was about protecting her legacy. Marcus had bet I'd be too scared or overwhelmed to fight back. He'd underestimated what I'd do to protect what my grandmother had given me. Not just a house, but a home, and proof that family isn't always about blood. Have you ever faced someone who tried to steal your inheritance or take advantage of a loved one's illness? What would you have done if a stranger showed up claiming ownership of your family home? Like and subscribe for more stories about people who refused to be victims and fought back the right way.